Okay, so in the effort of time, we are just going to go ahead and get started with today's session. My camera is off because I'm having some tech issues. Once again, we will be recording this. So if you do not want to be recorded, go ahead and hit leave. We once again are just encouraging that we all turn our cameras on. This is a really interactive community. Our participants and our presenters really love seeing everybody's faces. We also will be doing a case narrative or a case presentation. So if you have a case that you would be interested in sharing with us, or to gain more information, please consider doing a case presentation. We'll be talking about those in our breakout rooms today as well. We are just reminding you to protect individual privacy. So avoid using any personal information anywhere they work so that we can keep this private. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to one of our hub members. All of our hub members have an asterisk in front of their name, and we're just glad that they are joining us. If you will rename your profile to put your name and the state that you're from, as well as your job title. Please also include that information in the chat so that we can contact you with any information. Any chance that you want to pre-register for a session, go ahead and email earlyecho at usu.edu. In the top of the chat, I also put the registration for any of our upcoming sessions. To get the certificate of attendance, just remember to fill out those evaluations that are sent right after the session. Double check your junk email if you are missing any of those. We do have a Canvas site that all of our information is on. If you need to have access to Canvas, please email us or email Kurt Phillips. You can also comment on the discussion board to gain more information or share anything that you would like other participants to know. Once again, just that case study, it's really a great way to gain information and get resources from our colleagues and from all of our providers here that are joining us. REDCap is our survey, so that is where you will complete the survey to get this certificate of attendance. And then if you want to also follow us on Facebook, we provide information about upcoming sessions as well as any useful information. So I'm really excited today to announce just our conversation with Dr. Larry Edelman. And he will do a great job at introducing himself. I'm just going to go over a few highlights. Is that he is a consultant in the fields of early care and education. He has, as a child development specialist, professional development, and instructional designer and video producer. He has worked with hundreds of early childhood agencies in more than 45 states and abroad. And for more than 40 years, he has worked with a diverse group of collaborating organizations, including federal, state, and local agencies. So I'm just really excited that he is willing to come and join us today and have that conversation about technology in early intervention. So I'm going to turn the time over to Dr. Larry Edelman to take it away.
Well, thanks. And no doctor, just Larry. Most people, when they see how old I am, figure I must be a doctor. So, but no, just Larry. It's great to be here. You know, I was pleased to get the invitation. I think the most important thing about what I do, and what I want to share with you today is my background is in child development. I have both my undergraduate and graduate degrees are in child development, and I've worked in just about every job you can imagine in early intervention and preschool special education and early care and education, and healthcare. I worked in a pediatric rehabilitation hospital for many, many, many years before doing community-based services. But what I think is important that maybe is my niche in our field is very early in my career, I decided that moving pictures are essential to telling our story. And so starting in the early 1970s, I started using film even before video was widely available to do two things. One, to understand children's learning, growth, and development, and then also to learn more about how practitioners deliver their services, both to children and their families. And so that's never left me. And so throughout my career, both in the work that I did with kids and families, and then more recently in the work that I've done in professional development and systems change, is I've used video as a foundation for broadening and making more intimate our conversations about what we do and why we do it and how we do it. So for the past 25 years or so, I've devoted not all, but most of my energy to working with fellow practitioners like you in figuring out how we're going to use video to learn how to better do what we do. And that means how to reflect more on children and families that we serve, but also to do self-reflection and assessment so that we could study video of ourselves and say, so what opportunities do I have now that I could see how that looked, how I could see what the outcomes are based on the strategies I use, the approaches I use, the models I use. And so that's really been my focus. Like I said, for a quarter of a century at least, is working with practitioners all over the country and actually parts of Europe in figuring out how video makes this conversation more expansive. I thought a really fun thing to do would be just to look at some video together, a short video clip, and see what we see. I wanted to share with you what happened to me during the pandemic, going back to March of 2020. I just do contract work. I work a lot with institutions of higher education, state agencies, and federal agencies. And I basically just said to everyone I've been working with, I could only work on pandemic related projects right now. And that's what I've done for the past year. So I started out last spring chronicling what home visitors were doing when they could no longer visit families in their homes. And then and did that for several months. And then last fall, I started doing that more with preschool providers and preschool special educators, basically collecting video, interviewing families, interviewing practitioners. And so I wanted to share with you a couple of things that you could see on your own that are in some handouts that I prepared. And I'll just show you what these are. This is a handout. Are you all able to see that? Could someone give me a thumbs up? Yep, good, thanks. These are sites that have video that I've produced during the pandemic. These are all on the ECTA, the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Network, and these are all different home visits that I invite you to look at. There's also, I do a lot of work with Julianne Woods, a very gifted researcher and developer of family guided routines-based intervention. And I'm going to be showing you a little clip from one of her physical therapists, and then some work that I've done over time. So I just, invite you to just use this handout to look at different examples of what service delivery looks like when it's mediated and delivered through technology, through video conferencing and related technologies. So that's one thing I wanted to share with you. Another thing I wanted to share with you is on the ECTA website, I produced a short video during the pandemic about how to build your video conferencing skills. And this was made for home visitors, but really I think it works for anyone who wants to use technology. So I encourage you to go to the link on this page. And then lastly, I thought I might want to share a few slides with you, and I made some slides and their handouts too, but I might show you one or two of these. I think it's more important for us to play. And so that's what we'll do. We'll look at some video together. So with that, I just wanted to share three things that I learned that I think during the pandemic in terms of early intervention services that I think are encouraging. The first is, despite the heartache, despite the heartbreak of this pandemic, I was able to witness amazingly effective work being done with families despite that heartache. And I've seen children have good outcomes. I've seen parents be appreciative and feel that they were still receiving meaningful supports and services. I think that's great news. The second thing is a lot went into that effectiveness. That programs that were able to provide staff support, staff training, practitioners who were able to remain flexible. A lot went into it. But the biggest thing that happened was those people, I think, who succeeded when we couldn't be with families in their natural environments anymore physically, what succeeded is folks who realized three things: that models that were well suited to Zoom, to video conferencing, the models that incorporated, I think, three elements really succeeded. And those elements were delivering services through caregiver coaching. And fortunately, I think that's where the research and the evidence has been leading us for many years, is realizing that early intervention is more effective when it's delivered through caregiver coaching. So that's the first piece. The second is that the context for our work is not in decontextualized therapeutic activity, but rather when the foundation is a family's typical routines, activities, and transitions in their world, when we deliver services through those kinds of experiences, that's when we're effective. And that is very easily given to services mediated through video conferencing. And then the last thing is that when we're routines based in our work in general. And the good news is all of that is easy to do in Zoom. In fact, I have documentation that I've done 10 years ago where I truly believe that some services are more effective delivered through video conferencing than face-to-face. And I've had profound experiences watching that happen. So anyway, during the pandemic, I had the opportunity of working with PTs, OTs, speech and language pathologists, developmental specialists, psychologists, and having them record their video conferencing early intervention sessions, sharing them with me. And then I would have interviews with parents and practitioners and administrators saying, so show me, tell me, what happened and what was good, what worked, what didn't. And I wanted to share with you a 10-minute clip of what was my favorite visit through it's a weird thing. This is my favorite pandemic visit in early intervention, but I love it, and I hope you will too. Now, online, and I'll share with you one more video, one more screen that I'm going to be able to share with you. Let me find this for you, and then I want to show you where the full video is, because I think if you can't find anything available one day on Netflix or Hulu and you want to watch something entertaining, I invite you to watch this entire home visit. This is the FGRBI homepage, and if you go to mobile coaching up at the top, and then video illustrations, what I'm going to show you is a snippet from this video called a home visit with Chloe and her family. Now, if you see, I made this video almost its entirety. I maybe edited out a minute or two. It's about an hour long, and I think it's just really fun. There's a bunch of illustrations of what Julianne Woods refers to mobile coaching, and there's including several full-length visits. And so I encourage you to spend some time on that site. It's in the handout. But what I want to show you is just 10 minutes. And I want this to be very active. I want you to grab a piece of paper, or better yet, open up your chat box. And as you watch this snippet, this 10 minutes, what I encourage you to do is this. Every time you see something happen that you say, that's recommended practice, that's best practice, that's reflective of evidence-based practice, just type it in the chat box, and let's see what observations we make. And don't be shy. You know, what do you see the practitioner, Afton, the physical therapist, what do you see her do that you like? And also, what's happening with the family that you think is reflective of the kind of practices we want to see? Also make observations about how this is happening through Zoom. What, is this as good as what might have happened if Afton was in this family's backyard? So anyway, let me pull this up. We didn't try out the videos before, so hopefully this will work. Let's see. And I'm going to share sound, so maybe that will work. All right. Can I get a thumbs up? You able to see this? All right, open the chat box or grab some notes, and I hope you enjoy this.
Oh, Chloe Ray, look at you. Good girl. You did it. Yay. You walked outside. Are you walking outside? Oh, good girl. In a beautiful stand. Oh, is she going up steps right now?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Has she done this a lot? I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, she'll, I know before we stopped going to Becky, she was climbing that whole flight of stairs.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if that's good or not.
That is good. I mean, I think so, but you guys are the ones who have to chase her around. That's awesome. Has she figured out how to get down?
I don't, so we never really tried it.
That's okay. That's okay. That's one of those next steps that
I would say her arms are still up a little bit if she's not carrying anything, but they went down from what they were when she first started walking.
Okay. Do you think that the holding of stuff has helped with that at all, or do you think just getting stronger, or what?
I think it's helped. I think it's helped her gain better ability with it.
Okay, good. And you guys might start to see with her, hi Pumpkin, with her just learning to walk outside, you might start to see those arms come up higher, because what that means is she's just trying to find some stability. And you'll see that kind of like you guys are noticing, okay, she's more comfortable, she's stronger, those arms are starting to come down. You'll start to see that when she's outside too. And that might be a way that you can, you can know that she's getting stronger because those arms will start to come down outside too.
She climbs up on everything, the couch, the recliners, everything. I don't know how she manages it, but she gets up there.
That is awesome. Oh, Chloe, you're everywhere. You got to keep up with those brothers, don't you? Oh, there's your buddy. There's your kitty.
There's Kitty.
Do you guys feed? What happened to Kitty's leg? Has Kitty always had 3 legs?
No. When was that?
Last fall.
Last fall. It got it in a trap, so now it's just a nub.
My goodness. Poor kitty. Oh, well, he's getting around just fine.
I'm gonna grab her baby quick.
Then get your baby. Mike, do you guys feed the kitty outside?
Yeah.
I wonder if she would help with that. What do you carry the food in? Or do you just have it in a bag?
Small bucket.
Yeah, I wonder if she would, since the kitty's so motivating.
Yeah.
That might be an idea. So Nicole, Mike and I were talking about we talked about one option of this walking outside. We know Kitty's a motivator. So we talked about the routine of maybe feeding Kitty, since that's a bucket. Any other like routines or activities? You guys are such an outdoorsy family. Is there anything else that you could see her practicing the walking outside? Any other, like anything with the boys or any chores you guys do around the house or cleanup or anything that she could kind of tag along with and practice that walking? Or another way to think of it is, what would be easier for you outside if she could do that walking? Has the kitty been fed yet?
No.
Nope.
Perfect. Okay, so we can do it. Is that okay? You guys want to try that?
The kitty can always eat.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to do cement and we're going to feed Kitty. And then on the deck, we will pick up toys. Well, you guys are awesome. But I do like that baby. If we could give her something.
Yeah, like a spoon or something.
Yeah, like to give her a reason for why she's bringing baby. Well, hey, bud, how's it going, Landon? Good. Are you missing your friends? What'd you say, buddy?
Hot out today, and I want to burn.
Isn't it awesome? I love it. Hey, you know what? We're gonna have Chloe feed the kitty. Can you help her?
You gonna help her feed the kitty?
Sure. No, we can maybe use the dog food.
Just wait.
Did he say the dog food?
Yeah, we can maybe use the dog food. That's what we give our cat. They eat all the same. I don't know. Hopefully my computer will work. I should have did it on Mike's phone, but
Oh no, you're fine. And I could still see her.
okay. She's probably gonna eat what's in there.
Mike, I like how you put her hands on and gave her that cue of hold it. Oh, look at her go.
Take it to Kitty.
Oh, Kitty's gonna eat it.
Lana, show her where the pan is.
Chloe. 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 You're here. Chloe.
I'll stop and play in it, she
We're
thinks.
just playing with it, yes.
It's in here. Put it in. Put it in. Here.
That was perfect.
Help, Chloe. Let her help, Landon.
Here.
Let her hold it and help. The cat's like,
Give me food.
"Give it to me."
Put it in.
Can you put it in?
Here. Put it in.
Yeah, I like how she had a target to walk to.
Yeah, she's pulling it in with
Oh,
her
that's
hand.
perfect. And she's gonna practice standing outside too. Did you feed the kitty, Chloe? Good job.
She's like, I think I'll try it. Oh, yuck. She got a piece. Chloe, take the bucket back. Hey, get the bucket. Go
Hey,
put the bucket
Landon.
away.
Landon, do you want to tell her where to put the bucket so she could clean
Landon.
it up?
Tell her where to put the bucket at.
Show her where to put the bucket. Put the bucket over there.
Oh, she's going to get it.
Put it over there.
Go show her, Landon.
Yes, Chloe. Chloe. Play toys. Play toys. Play toys. Play toys.
I guess she's not using her walker right now.
Isn't that awesome? That was good.
Give it, set it over there.
Right here. You want to play toys? Come over here. Yeah, right there.
Oh. Give the bucket to Landon.
Gonna She switched surfaces too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
What did you guys notice about the arm position on her way to take it to the kitty?
They were pretty well down, weren't they?
Oh, halfway.
Halfway.
Yeah. It almost seemed like the hand on the bucket was lower.
Yeah, then the other one. Yep.
Yeah. And I wonder, you guys had said she carried 2 buckets. Is there anything else that she would be willing to carry to get that other hand down? Hey, Mike, if you were to just ask her to walk, or Nicole, if you guys just give her the cue, would she let go of her walker? Or if you
Chloe.
held on to her walker?
Chloe, come here. Chloe, come walk to me. Come here. Walk. Let go.
What about baby? If you showed her baby?
Oh, yep. Chloe. 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 Come get baby. Come get baby. Come get your baby.
Oh, baby wants you to rock her. Rock, baby.
Walk. Walk. Come here. Come get it. Come here.
A little bit of a hill here.
Oh.
Grass. Come get your baby.
Has she taken much to the cue of that? We talked about walk. Maybe I'm wrong in what we had talked about the sign.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
I mean, even if you just say it, she knows what you're.
perfect. Good job, Chloe. You got your baby. Oh, you rocker. The pat the baby. That was good. That was so good.
Gonna walk back to your walker?
Oh, look at that. Landon, I love your idea. We're going to see if she'll go up the steps, and then we're going to see what it looks like when we try to get her to go down. So maybe you can help us with that.
Come here, Chloe.
I can do this.
Landon, do you have an idea for how to get her down the steps?
Do you have an idea for how to get her down?
What do you think?
Tractor. She loves tractor.
Oh, all right. That's a good idea. So the tricky part about steps is oftentimes we teach kids to crawl up forward, and then we teach them to crawl backwards. To teach a kid to crawl backwards is hard because their eyes are not backwards. So their motivator is not necessarily down. Well, we have the motivator down, but they're not necessarily seeing it. So it's kind of a tricky skill to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see what you guys can try. Mike, I like how she was like positioned on your lap there with her both hands on your lap.
Can you get it?
Because then she was kind of set up to go backwards. If she can get back in that position, then Nicole, maybe you can guide her down to show her. It's kind of going to be like a direct bringing those little legs down, like a hand over leg.
Is she going down by herself?
There you go.
Look, Chloe.
Yep.
She even see it. Yeah. Lena, leave the tractor down here.
Coming, Chloe. We're gonna get the tractor.
One more. One more.
Oh, it's a seat. Sorry. Right here.
Awesome. Nicole, what did you have to do both legs? I saw the first. Oh, that was beautiful.
No, the first step I kind of did, and then she got down to the second one herself, and
That was awesome.
Great observations. Let's just chat about this a little bit. What did y'all think? What are you left with after watching just 10 minutes of what was an hour-long visit? What do you think?
I thought she did a lot of really great, just problem solving and asking the family. So she asked questions that she obviously knew the answer to, but she was just encouraging the family to think about it so that they could come up with that answer themselves instead of her saying it to them. That see what just happened? She was able to ask them, what did you guys observe? And they were able to answer really well.
I love that observation. And I think she would, well, I know this because I talked to Afton. I think she was doing two things. One, you're absolutely right. She was asking questions to help the family realize what they know and to discover things. But she also was asking questions that she really didn't know the answer to as well. You know, that she really was relying on the family to be her hands and eyes on site. So yeah, she was doing both those things. Great observation. What else? What else?
Larry, I enjoyed watching her adjust to things that were happening in the environment, right? The little boy coming into the picture, involving him, involving the family. She had a framework, but she was able to, mold that framework around what was happening in the environment. So.
Yeah, Jacob, I love that observation. And, I'll tell you something, and this is an awful thing. When the pandemic first hit, I immediately started collecting guidance documents that programs around the country were giving to families about, you're going to be receiving services now through Zoom. Here's how to get ready for your early intervention visit. And what they were doing is they were using telemedicine as a guide for these documents. And I literally saw documents where they were saying to families, to get ready for your early intervention visit, find a room in the house where you can shut the door and tell all the family members not to bother you for the next hour, and make sure it's private and quiet. And I want it to be the exact opposite. And I think that's what you're observing there is, I think that the way I see it is not, and this may sound subtle, but it isn't. It's not that she was involving all the family members. It was that she was resisting disrupting typical family functioning. And that's a big difference. She wasn't saying, "Ooh, how could I involve Landon, the brother, and even the other brother who was playing in the mud, but how could I try to do what I'm doing without disrupting what is the way this family typically hangs, which is they're all together." So anyway, I love that observation. Great. What else?
I thought that it was a really good example of what the natural environment really looks like. I felt like as a speech pathologist, when I go into somebody's house, it immediately becomes a contrived environment because I'm not part of their function. But when I'm reduced to a screen that's just a few inches big, and I can just interject as the family is doing their thing, it's a lot more functional. And I've found that the parents are much more comfortable trying things that I suggest they do. Whereas if I was in their home, they want me to demonstrate, and then they'll practice behind closed doors later. And that doesn't really work very well.
Yeah. I like that. And Karen, did you recognize as an SLP, Afton was doing a lot of speech related things. I don't know if you or others were observing. I see some head nodding, but could you think of anything that Afton doing where it wasn't all about motor? She was doing things related to communication. Were you observing any of those?
Well, absolutely. She gave directions, but in a real simplified manner. I thought she spoke really nicely to her daughter, and the way that they directed her and described what they were doing, I thought was really appropriate. I thought it was funny when the little boy, I think I heard this right, when he was trying to get her to come over to him with the bucket, I think he kept saying, play toys, like she was going to get to play with toys with him when she got there, but he didn't have any toys. And that kind of cracked me up. I thought that was a pretty cute thing for a little boy to do. He was on the right track.
Yeah. Great. I loved how she was responding to Chloe, and I don't think Afton, the PT, was responding to Chloe as much as she was modeling some ways that the parents might respond to Chloe by using telegraphic sentences, by using 2-word sentences, by encouraging Chloe, by naming what Chloe was doing and what she had. I just thought she was doing just a great job of, modeling with a lowercase m, not modeling with uppercase m, not teaching, but just gently, modeling some things that I think parents do pick up on. Great. What else? Any other observations? I know I loved the rich observations you made in the chat, but anything else that is on anyone's mind?
I like how she related routines to everything, kept reminding the family that everything was routine based, and that new routines were introduced, but refreshed the idea that their whole life is a routine, really.
Caitlin, I love that observation. And I don't know if all of you are familiar with Julianne Wood's model, family guided routines based intervention, but it's predicated on many assumptions, but one of them is routines are the way that children learn and practice new skills. And that when, we create opportunities within a variety of different typical routines and activities, children have more opportunities for practicing. And so Afton was well trained in the model. And I'm glad you observed that. Let's see if there's any more observations, things that you're left with. Well, I enjoyed watching that with you. It's funny because I saw things that I've seen this many times. I encourage you to watch the entire visit. It really is hysterically fun, and I think it's full of drama of just what you all do every day. It's anyway. And I want to share with you two ideas that are in the slides that I don't want to go over, but I do want to pull these up and share with you just two ideas. And I'm going to pull up the handout that y'all able to see this. The big thing that I want to share with you, and this is about technology, the two ideas is one, the use of video conferencing in early intervention and preschool special education is not new and is not related to the pandemic. It's when many of us started to have it on our radar, but I've been, if you look at this top slide that's in your handouts, these are videos that I've made as long ago as 20 years ago of including preschoolers who can't attend a preschool because they have an immune disease or they have another chronic illness. We've been doing this work for a long time. Now, there are a lot of reasons why we need to deliver our early intervention home visits through video conferencing. One is shortage of personnel. I mean, everyone on this call, one thing we have in common is we live in incredibly vast rural areas, and we all work in programs where we probably don't have the full complement of disciplines. So we have shortages of personnel, we have challenges. I'm sure that so many of you, if you drove to a family's house both ways, that's all you would do that day is drive, because families live 3 hours away. We have family members, not only children, who might have comprised immune systems, extreme weather. We have fires, we have hurricanes, we have tornadoes, natural disasters, and pandemics. So there are reasons why I think in our field we must deliver our services through video conferencing. However, there's also a lot of reasons why we might want to, and that's the point I want to make for the future. I think there are many reasons why it may be better to deliver services through video conferencing periodically than always visiting a family. One is family preferences. This woman in the top left told me how she loves having virtual visits, if you want to call it that, because she doesn't have to clean her house. And so continuity of support, and that's the last thing I'm going to share with you, is that we could augment face-to-face visits with periodic video conferencing to augment what is happening. We could have brief coaching sessions. And I have in the handout that I sent you on different sites where there's video illustrations. The example I'm thinking of is the family of the infant who was not feeding well. She had many short encounters over FaceTime with her SLP, who is a feeding specialist, rather than one long visit. And that was what helped her have success and meet the IFSP outcomes. Providing just in time support, just so that we don't have to wait till the next visit. We could address things as they're happening. Enabling co-visits where either logistics or funding prevents two practitioners from visiting together. Assessment. So I guess the point I want to make here is this: as the pandemic is winding down and we're all delighted to be back in families' homes, we shouldn't forget that video conferencing is going to continue to be a viable tool that should be in our tool belt to use when we want to. The last point I want to make is this one here. It's in the handout. This thing regarding our services is a fluid process rather than isolated events. The big thing that was confirmed to me during the pandemic and studying how we delivered services to family using technologies, a variety of technologies, is the rule of three, which is that whenever we think about our services, they should always have whatever model, regardless of whatever model we use, we should make sure that we keep the rule of three in mind, meaning that services should be coherent, meaning to families, they're logical, they make sense to a family saying, yeah, what we're doing now, I get it. This makes sense and it works. Second is there's continuity, is that services are connected over time and they're unbroken. And thirdly, contextualization, meaning that we're responsive to families changing circumstances and priorities. Now, here's what's in the handout. This is a simple set of three. There's an activity at hand, something led up to it, and something's going to follow it. Well, a more accurate thing is whenever there's a set of three, every element of that set of three is part of another set of three. So if you look at today, we're involved in an activity right now. Well, something's going to happen after this activity. Maybe you'll watch a video, maybe you'll have a conversation, whatever. But something also happened before this activity that led up to this. So everything that happens is both at the same time, the thing happening, it's something that's happening before something else, and it's something that happens after it. If we keep that in mind, the set of three, it helps us make sure that families always perceive our services as having coherence, continuity, and contextualization. And the example I would give is what I saw over and over again in this last cell over the pandemic. So someone scheduled a home visit through a video conferencing and ended with an action plan, which, as we know, evidence would suggest to us it's always good to end our visits with action plans. And then the family's going to implement those strategies. Well, what happens in so many cases is the family needs some support in implementing it. It may be that the family is not succeeding with it, or they don't know how it works in different contexts or different routines or activities. And so it may be that they need a brief video call or a phone call or even a text chat. And then the family, tries it again, succeeds, and then maybe they text back a celebratory video of, look, it worked. This is what coherence and continuity and contextualization look like. Unfortunately, what we do so often is we think that that families' lives are oriented around our visits, that we have a visit, what we decided they'll do, and then they do it again, and then we have another visit. So what I'm suggesting is just this. We have a lot of technologies to assist us. We have telephone, recorded video, live video, video conferencing, cloud-based storage, all these things. And that's just my suggestion, is that we always keep in mind not just our visit, but touch points between visits, where we could use technologies to be more connected to families and give them opportunities for requesting the supports that they need, not just our visit, but rather touch points where we could provide more incremental and episodic supports. Anyway, that's what I'm left with after the pandemic. And so I'll shut up and let you guys get to your agenda. But thanks for letting me chat with you.
Thanks, Larry. That was awesome. And I love that idea of touch points in between visits. We are going to have a case presentation, and you are, I know you're busy. So if you need to jump off, you can jump off, but we would love to have you join a breakout session if you have time.
I do till the top of the hour, so I'll be happy to.
Okay, so we have our case presenter today. She is one of our hub members, Kate Bennington. So I am going to let her share the screen. And then just a reminder to, if you have not put your contact information into the chat, please do that, as well as we are going to go into breakout rooms. So if you saw Sue's error, I texted her and it was a lack of communication on both of our parts. As well as add in one highlight you learned from our session today. So Kate, I will let you take it away. You are on mute, Kate.
Sorry, technical issues. My cursor just disappeared and I couldn't click unmute, but here I am. Are you guys able to see the screen okay, or is it in the notes view?
Looks great.
Okay, thanks. So, yeah, I am an occupational therapist. I work with the Up to 3 early intervention team in Utah. So the case I was hoping to present today is a little 17, almost 18-month-old little boy who has a somewhat rare genetic condition called Alagille syndrome. And so this syndrome affects his heart. He has a couple heart defects and he has difficulties with his liver and processing bile. And there also is some concerns for autism with this little boy, just that's related to that condition. So they were told very early on to look and monitor for red flags for autism. I'm the occupational therapist on the team, and he has a lot of other team members. He's being seen by PT, a nutritionist, a developmental specialist, speech language pathology. He's also followed by a genetics team at Primary Children's and a neurologist and a cardiologist. And he also has another feeding specialist team at Primary Children's as well. So he has a lot of appointments and he has a lot of therapists that are all helping him, which is really great. Kind of some primary area of concerns for this child is he's pretty globally delayed and impacted in all areas of development. Motor, cognitive, language. He also has some significant feeding difficulties. He's primarily only drinking, well, he is only drinking Pediasure at this time. He's not eating any solid foods and will only take Pediasure from a bottle. And so related to those feeding concerns, he also has some pretty significant sensory concerns with touch to his hands and also oral aversions. And then there are some red flags for autism that are being monitored right now. So some of his goals that are currently on his IFSP are some motor goals. They're working on crawling. He just started sitting up independently and scooting on his bum and being a little more mobile that way. So I think some next steps are crawling, pulling to stand, and also with some fine motor skills, kind of functional play, putting things in containers, turning pages in books. He typically, when he just kind of swats at toys or just holds them and visually inspects them, he's not demonstrating very many functional play skills right now, or imitating any play skills right now. For feeding, we're working on just bringing even his bottle or anything to his mouth, any toys, to his mouth, tolerating different textures on his hands and face, and just accepting tastes of purees or meltables. It's something that he's a pretty sensitive little guy and doesn't want anything touching his hands or face. And so it can be pretty hard at meal times for him getting some of those sensory exposures. And then for social emotional, they're working on getting any of those imitating gestures, engaging in back and forth social games. So you can see that there's a lot that we're working on with this little guy. So there's a lot that we're working on. And so I'm hoping to get a lot of great ideas from you guys today. Some barriers to achieving these goals are the sensory sensitivity. I know his mom just recently mentioned that even pulling to stand is hard because he doesn't like the feeling of the toys or the couch or things that he would pull to stand on. So those sensory concerns are kind of some barriers. And then that engagement and imitation, getting him engaged in activities can be kind of difficult, and finding what's motivating for him can be difficult. Some strategies that we've tried is a lot of sensory exploration with food, sand, vibration, those touch and feel books, massaging and deep pressure. We're also working on holding a bottle right now. And so we put some handles on his bottle. We talked about supported positioning at his shoulders. We've used different textuals and visual aids to bring that awareness and his attention to the bottle or cups to hold. We've been working on container play and have used clear containers with colorful objects that make sounds. A lot of modeling and backwards chaining with putting in a container and then trying to make it motivating with different textures, like with tissue paper. So getting creative with different sounds. And then with engagement, we've just been working on getting on his level, imitating him, and then those sensory social games. Just a little bit about the family. So they're a white family and both parents are married. He has a little older brother who's also seeking an autism evaluation at this time. His mom is mostly the one who participates in the therapy sessions, but his dad's always there in the background and helping and jumps in when he needs to. And these parents are really great. They're willing to try anything that you suggest and right there on the spot, which is really helpful for virtual visits. They're quick to, purchase things that you suggest and are really flexible and wanting to try a variety of things. The family is pretty busy though. Both parents are working and the father's also in school, and both kids have a lot of therapy appointments. So kind of what I was hoping today is to get some more suggestions on parent coaching strategies over telehealth to increase the child's engagement and help with helping parents read cues of their child. There's been a couple times where, the child will be initiating some subtle cues saying, I want more, where the parents don't always pick it up. And so it can be difficult helping parents recognize those cues that their child is giving. Also looking for more sensory strategies to decrease that oral aversion and that touch sensitivity. And then ideas for motor activities to promote functional play and help with bringing toys and the bottle and things to his mouth. So yeah, those are kind of my biggest 3 questions that I'd love some input on.
Okay, we'll take about 2 minutes so that anybody can ask any final questions to Kate before we move into breakout rooms. And if you have any, just go ahead and unmute yourself and call it out.
Does he bring his own bottle up to his mouth with the handles, or does they have to assist with that also?
Yeah, they have to assist with that also. We were just working that on this morning, and even when he's like, she has a pretty good position where she's holding him very well supported behind his arms and kind of prompting him at the elbows to bring his hands to midline, and he resists it and he just goes out. And so, yeah, even with the handles, he's not yet grabbing onto them or trying to bring it to mouth.
I was wondering, are there any textures that he does tolerate more than others, or even textures that he seeks out?
I wouldn't say necessarily seeks out, but he's very comfortable with all his toys that are just like plastic and yeah, just your typical plastic toys he's okay with. Anything beyond that, he gets pretty overwhelmed by.
I have a couple positional questions. So will he tolerate, like, is he pushing up onto his hands, grabbing his feet? I mean, granted, I know he's like, what, 17, 18 months. So we're talking about pulling to stand, but does he tolerate like positional changes?
Yeah, he's showing a lot of progress in that. And I actually asked today about if when he's crawling, if he'll put his hands on the carpet, and he's starting to do that, and with an open hand too, which is great. And so I think positionally he is tolerating a lot more, and he's starting to, his mom said he's starting to catch himself with his hands too, which is great.
Okay, I am going to put us into breakout rooms. Each of the breakout rooms has a hub member. If you guys will turn on your cameras, as well as identify either a note taker or the hub member can take notes, whatever you guys want to do. And then we will be coming back in 20 minutes to do a wrap up. If we have time, we'll each talk about one idea from our groups. If not, that will be on the Canvas site, as well as shared with Kate for her team. Any other questions before we break out?
And a reminder, I just pasted the questions that Kate had into the chat so that you can see them and kind of stay focused on her areas of questions.
Okay. So Lacey and Megan, Marlena and Kirsten, you should have a, Megan, do you want to click your button? I'm guessing that Megan is moved away from her computer.
Got tied up somewhere else, I guess.
I'm just gonna remove her. Oh, if I remove her, she won't be able to join again.
Yes, we just had Hannah Jardine join, but you'll need to.
Hi, Hannah. I'm gonna put you.
Hannah, if you can hear me, you also need to join so that you have audio in some way. Oh, Megan's back.
No, I put her in the waiting room.
Oh, so leave her there, right?
If I clicked her out, then it was back in at all.
Okay.
So, sheesh.
But I won't know how to, when she's actually there to admit her.
Yeah, I guess we could just every so often click her back in and see if she will move to.
But she'll be able to see the message on her screen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's assigned to room 6 with that.
So we'll give her a couple minutes and I'll click her back in. And...
Yeah. So sorry about that miscommunication.
Oh, and now she went away. So maybe she.
Yeah, she probably came back and went, what in the heck am I doing here? So then if she comes back in.
We'll put her back in again. Okay. Yeah, I think it went really well. Yeah, really great kind of perspective. Gave some, from my perspective, for what Marla and I've been talking about, really great idea, some good talking points or thinking points about when to use virtual, the benefits, how it fits.
Yeah.
Some really good points there. So.
Yeah, I thought it had some really nice things. But yeah, so as the core group, we decided that we had enough hub members that we wouldn't go into breakout rooms anymore.
I didn't think about it totally not going versus just going and hanging out silently but not facilitating them.
And we certainly could. That was one of the things.
Yeah, it's not, I agree that it's nice to have the others do it.
Yeah.
Really, it begins to involve them. I think it's good.
So it looks like in Summers, each of them at one point in time had 6.
Oh, Summers down to 2.
Summers down to 1 other person.
Yeah. And then Marlena Longhair said she had to go to a job interview.
Yeah.
So she's off.
And then I let Kate know that I wasn't going to have her facilitate just because she was the case presenter.
Uh-huh.
So. So we had about 39 participants. And
we're down to, well, I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't.
If you had 6 in each room, that'd have been 36 when you did breakouts.
So I had checked my internet and it was all working. And then as soon as Larry got on, started
to crash.
In and out, yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when I've talked with different providers about, you know, the problems that we have and are there solutions, you know, they were, of course, or their system like Verizon or AT&T, they're the best, you know, and they have better coverage than anybody else. But bottom line was, if you've got poor cell coverage or wireless coverage in your area for the provider you've got, then you're just going to have ratty, you know what, wireless coverage. So there's not a solution about, I thought maybe if we got the better mode or hotspots, you know, they've got 5G hotspots now that'll stream faster, but if you don't have 5G available to you in your area, it just doesn't matter. And if AT&T doesn't have good coverage in that area, it's still going to be bad. So it's a kind of a bugger.
yeah, that is, because that's like one way people try to help with those rural places. So it doesn't really seem to fix that.
No, it doesn't. So I don't know. I mean, you just have to continue to see what's out there working. And, you know, one of the ideas about having each person use their phone and their hotspot as a hotspot, well, that means if you have poor service at your house on your current service, but you have good service when you go into your work or other areas, and so you stay with the poor service to your house, then using your phone as a hotspot is not a good idea.
No. And the like today with mine, all of my internet, you know, display things show that I have full internet. So I don't know why
you're so off.
I mean, and I even switched to the hotspot and it still shows that I have full bars, but on my personal home one, it shows I have full bars.
Yeah, so I don't know. And the thing is we might be able to figure out your situation, but then I think everybody's circumstances are so different around their technology that I don't know. I don't got a solution.
Right. And I mean, it's just, you know, even mine today, it's not like it's a consistent thing. It happened 5 minutes before I needed to be on here, and I probably won't have it again till another thing. Like this is what kind of happened that one time with Scope that I had those issues.
Yeah, I don't know. How much longer do we have?
We have about 10 minutes.
All right.
So then I don't know if this is what I don't know is that if, and maybe I'll have to look at editing this one, because I don't know if this portion of like us being in this thing is getting recorded, because if that is the case, we certainly don't want that on our.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So I'll look at that before. So when it converts and you put it in the recording one, on this one, I've just, in our presenters, in our early echo in presenters, I've just put the recording right into their folder versus a recording folder.
Okay.
And then we could look, because then maybe we would need to pause it. And it's probably never mattered because it's just Rachel who's been sitting in this room by herself.
So no one to talk to necessarily. But here we are. Chat.
Yep. Yeah. He's really entertaining, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he has such a, he not only has been there, done that, but he continues to do it. I mean, he's so in tune with, you know, how services work, versus others who tell us how to do things. And even if they haven't done it or done it recently, they forget, you know, the real life factors.
Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah, and Julie, I really like Julianne Wood's work. That's where the SOPRA stuff comes from. And yeah, I like her work.
Yeah. And that will be, I mean, it will be great that then Summer's going to do routine-based interviews next month. And then that we do have Anne presenting on the super model.
Yeah.
So.
It has a nice, different topics per se, but they all interrelate. So it's really nice, I think, stream of a lot of continuity, as he would say. Sorry, a lot of continuity in the topics, and they intertwine with one another. So I think it's really great.
Yep. So that's pretty interesting about, did you know that about Nicole Bissonette?
I had not. And in fact, I had kind of seen that she was, it's still maintaining some kind of top management, top admin things in this combining of the departments, but you know, whether that had anything to do with it or not, or whether she just had, you know, where she's going is, you know, been her passion. I don't know, because I don't really know her at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know,
yeah, I would guess that this merging of departments will create or will cause others to have a moment of consideration of their job and continue it or changing or those kinds of things.
All of the above.
Yeah. Oh, and we learned today that Carly has been offered the job where she's working at a higher salary, and we chose not to match that. And so now we're back in the hunt for another service coordinator.
Oh, sheesh. That's not fun, huh?
Nope, it's not. It is not. So, but you know, Marla said she's been working at one of the places for, you know, food disorders and all of that. And I think it either Avalon or like Avalon.
Oh, I didn't know we had another one here in the valley like that.
Well, they have 3 sites, but maybe they're all Avalon, right?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's, and we really had to encourage her to apply for early intervention. So I said, you know, this just may not be her population, but she's been job hunting, and we first offered and to have her be continuing to interview and seek something further in her area of interest. You know, we could offer her more, but the money is not the incentive that'll keep her here if you're not interested in early intervention, children and families.
No.
You know, so I said, it's just, yeah. So I said, you know, thank her and wish her good luck and let her go on down that road.
Yeah, that is true. Because if not, you'll just kind of always be.
We'll be chasing her.
Yep. which is not ever fun.
Yeah. And I of course, we don't work with the students anymore, and don't really, with the pandemic, didn't even really get to know them. But for working in our program for 2 semesters, she should have had greater strengths than she had. We didn't offer her the first round because they offered it to Jordan.
The one thing is Sue, is that it does seem like social work students, I don't know if it's because of their hours or what, but they don't really do a whole lot until the last 3 weeks of their placement.
Yeah, and I've always thought that to be a problem, and I don't, so Jamie and was it Ashlyn, whoever was before Ashlyn, really kind of put together a timeline and a syllabus, and I don't know if they get, I don't know if we don't push them down the road quick enough to have hands-on, because my goal was to have them have hands-on experience all of the second semester.
Yeah.
When Jeannie was over them, yeah, she was really slow to push him off the cliff. But I don't know if we've gotten feedback from the department, because ultimately, I guess they have some decision making with our stuff. But anyway, don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
More to learn, more to learn.
Yep. 2 minutes left. And I don't dare open anything in fear that things will shut down on my end again now that it's working.
Yeah, I bet.
So I don't dare turn on my camera. I don't dare open up to take attendance. I'm just going to sit here in complete shock and array.
Yep, be careful. Get that.
Yeah. And then, so Rachel just had another job meeting, where she's working at the school district.
Yeah.
During the summer. That's why she's not here today. So I don't know what her priorities are.
Well, I kind of gave her some choices.
Okay.
And, well, I shouldn't say choices. I kind of said.
And we can talk about that in just a minute. I mean, afterwards, we're just getting close. So I would hate to.
Yeah. Have them join back, and here we are yakking, gossip.
Yep.
Can see we've got, not everybody put their state and stuff, even though we asked North Dakota, St. George, Utah,
Yeah, it is
Montana.
early. You could say it 500 times and some people still don't put it in there. I couldn't even double check to try to reach out to people because I'm so worried that things are going to shut down on my end. So
yeah, and you hate to, I mean, we ultimately have it in our spreadsheet, so you hate to interrupt their listening just to here they come.
Hi everyone. Summer, you had only 2. Lots of people dropped out of yours. So I'm sorry, I should have merged you guys. But when I finally realized people dropped out, people were already in conversations. So, but you guys probably had a great visit. We almost have everybody back. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes. I'm going to just call on each of our hub members and have them share just one idea from your breakout groups. And then like I mentioned, this will be on our Canvas site, so you can look at everybody else's recommendations. So Summer, you're first on my screen.
Okay, yep, it was just Sheila and I, and we talked about some strategies. But one thing we thought might be helpful is to really consider, we weren't sure, it said both parents worked, but wasn't sure if there was other care providers. But thinking about effectiveness of virtual home visits, that it's really more effective if you can catch the time of day when the child is more likely to engage in the behaviors that you want to observe. It's really hard to help parents understand how to see cues and how to respond in play and imitation, and if you're not seeing those things happen. So if there's other care providers that are providing care while the parents are working, if they could be included in that virtual format, that was a suggestion that we had. Since we are going virtual, and if the parent is at work at their office and has their camera on and the child at home, that may be a strategy that could help you catch the right time of day.
Great, thanks. Pat, what's one idea from your group? You're on mute.
We had lots.
And we'll share all those, but just one. I'm going to ask for one from each group.
Okay. Is it Scotty or Anne? Because you had both names.
Scotty.
Scotty. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, she mentioned about the cues and sort of not pointing out, oh, did you see what he's doing right now? Oh, but to be reflective and to go back and say, during the last couple of minutes, have you noticed what your baby's doing? So not really you being the expert, but really trying to engage the family in their observations.
Great. Barb, your group.
Well, I'm actually going to let Denise share, or Caitlin, whichever wants to, but they had most of the ideas.
Okay, one of the things that we thought about was where he will hold onto his bottle was to maybe put a different texture on one of the handles and then the other handle maybe not, so that he could get used to touching something else since he'll already touch that. And then also using hand under hand techniques, so that, you know, like when he's going to touch a texture book or whatever, have your hand under his hand and then bring your hand out so that he can kind of be in control of touching that. We had more too, but you'll get those in the email.
Great idea. I know it's hard only sharing one, but I'm just trying to allow everybody to have a little bit of time. Heather, what about your group?
Yeah, so I was with Kate, and so I'll just have her share. She took notes.
Yeah, my group shared a lot of great things. One thing I'm excited to try is the weight bearing through hands more now that he's a little bit more motivated to crawl, but weight bearing on a variety of textures to get around. So that'll be cool.
Great. Kirsten.
I took the notes.
Okay, perfect.
And we had a lot of stuff as well, but the one thing that's different from what other people are saying is on the pull-to stand at the couch, maybe using like a yoga mat or a sheet or something with plastic, since that's something he's already tolerating. And the use of maybe like some vertical bars, like rails, like to pull up on. And you could also use those, there was the suggestion to hang things from it, hang things from the bar, some kind of a vertical bar or handle of some sort, and maybe entice him if he likes bubbles. So if he's enticed by any of that.
Perfect. Kelsey, you're the last group, I think.
Lori took notes for us, so I'm going to let her go ahead.
Okay.
So we kind of did a lot of what you guys, other ones mentioned, but we did mention like maybe he might be getting some belly aches and diarrhea from eating because of the disorder that he has. If the nutritionist has addressed that and that he doesn't want to eat because it's painful or his belly hurts. And then we talked about trying maybe different smoothies, different textures of smoothies, and see if he'd be more accepting of that since he's starting on some purees. And then we were kind of curious to what other supports the parents have, like other resources or those coming in that can, help support them on some of to give them cues or to find his motivators.
Perfect. Maybe one time Kate can provide us an update on these recommendations and what's happening with this family. So I really appreciate all of your input, and we will, if whoever was the notes, if you'll send those into Early Echo, we'll compile all those recommendations. They will be on the Canvas site. Just two kind of quick things. There's a phone number, it's a 208-303-1011. If you will put your name and contact information in the chat, we would really appreciate that. Like I mentioned at the very start of the chat, there was the registration for any of our upcoming sessions, but I will also, we will email out a new flyer for our July, I had it in my head, it's July 7th. And we are having it on routines-based conversations. Don't forget to complete your survey when you get that, and add any one or two ideas that you found useful from this presentation in the chat, and then have a great rest of your day.
Hey, Janelle, the gal that's on the phone, gal or guy, I'm going to unmute because they may not be able to put anything in the chat. So if they will just tell us their name, do you want us to do that?
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. And if you're on there, 208 on the phone.
Thank you.
Will you tell us your name?
I think she got off.
Oh, shoot.
There's some new messages, but.
So,
it may have been Karen Butler. That was she. There's somebody who stuck their stuff in the very last minute. So. Oh,
no, the phone is still on there, and Karen's up in Park City, so she wouldn't have a 208. 208 is Idaho.
Yeah,
so.
It's hard to know where people come. So, hi, if you're on the phone, you're unmuted. Can you give us your name, please?
Amy Barassi.
Oh, perfect. Can you spell your last name for me?
Berasi. And I'm so sorry. I was listening to this as I was traveling, and it's been wonderful to listen to.
Oh, it's great. That's a perfect thing to do. So, thank you, Amy. Is it AMY or AMI?
AMY.
Okay, great. Thank you. Travel safe.
Thank you.